Ghostbusters. Not your normal studio comedy. 3 scientists, a haunted Manhattan, and more slime than sanity. But behind the scenes, there was more insanity. There was a real promo hotline fans could call. Sigourney Weaver won the room by barking like a dog in her audition. And early brainstorms toyed with Stay Puft, sharing the skyline with the Statue of Liberty. Here are 20 weird facts about Ghostbusters. The punchline? Bureaucracy meets ectoplasm. This isn't comedy. It's a paranormal startup with proton packs. Number 1. The Ghostbusters hotline was real. When Ghostbusters hit theaters, Columbia Pictures pulled a wild marketing stunt. They ran the fake Ghostbusters TV ad from the movie, but with a real 1-800 number instead of the usual 555. Anyone who called got a recorded message from Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd saying they were out catching ghosts right now. The result? Thousands of calls day and night for weeks. Basically, the Ghostbusters became real for the summer of 1984. Number 2. Ghost janitors in New York. That's it. Those 5 words were all it took to sell Ghostbusters to Columbia Pictures. Studio head Frank Price heard the pitch Ghost Janitors in New York and instantly said yes. Of course, having comedy legends Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray, and Harold Ramis already attached didn't hurt either. Years later, Price admitted most of Hollywood thought he'd made a big mistake. Turns out, that mistake became one of the biggest hits of the 80s. Number 3. Only 12 months to make. And once Ghostbusters got the green light, the real madness began. Columbia Pictures gave the Ghostbusters crew just 12 months to write, shoot, and release the entire film in time for the movie season of the summer of '84. They already had a rough draft, but it was still a tight timeline for a film this complex. The team went straight from script to pre-production with barely any sleep, and still managed to pull off one of the greatest comedies ever made. Number 4. The first draft was wild. Before Ghostbusters became the hilarious ghost-zapping drama we know today, Dan Aykroyd's first draft was completely nuts. It had ghost cops traveling through time and space, battling spirits in other dimensions. Ivan Reitman loved the concept, but the budget didn't allow it. He estimated it would have cost around $200 to $300 million in 1980s money. So yeah, interdimensional ghost cops were off the table. Instead, they scaled it back, set it in New York, and turned it into supernatural comedy magic. Number 5. Aykroyd's family hunted ghosts. Maybe that spooky first draft makes a little more sense when you know this. Ghost busting literally runs in Dan Aykroyd's family. His grandfather and father had a great interest in the paranormal. They held seances, collected ghost stories, and his father even wrote a book called A History of Ghosts. So yeah, when Aykroyd came up with the idea of chasing spirits through New York, he wasn't just writing a comedy, he was carrying on a family tradition. Number 6. Casting changes. Now here's one of the biggest what-ifs of the movie. Eddie Murphy was supposed to be a Ghostbuster. He was lined up to play Winston Zeddemore, the rookie recruit, but he turned it down to do Beverly Hills Cop instead. Once Murphy dropped out, the character was rewritten with fewer lines and eventually went to Ernie Hudson. Still, imagine Eddie Murphy busting ghosts alongside Bill Murray. That would have been a whole different kind of chaos. Number 7. Ramis wrote himself in. When Harold Ramis was co-writing Ghostbusters, he never planned to appear in it. But once the script was finalized, he realized he'd basically written the perfect character for himself, Egon Spengler. So, he stepped into the role. Funny thing is, before him, they were thinking about Jeff Goldblum, John Lithgow, Christopher Lloyd, even Christopher Walken for the part. Can you imagine that lineup? Ramis also decided Egon should never smile, and that tiny choice gave the character his signature deadpan charm. Number 8. Weaver barked at her audition. When Sigourney Weaver auditioned for the role of Dana Barrett in Ghostbusters, she didn't just read her lines. She went full method. Literally dropped to all fours, started growling, and pretended to be a dog. No kidding. It sounds insane, but it worked. Director Ivan Reitman was so impressed, he cast her on the spot. And that crazy moment actually inspired Dana's possessed scenes later in the film. So Sigourney didn't just land the part, she created it. Number 9. Slimer was John Belushi. Believe it or not, Slimer, that greedy little green blob, was actually inspired by comedian John Belushi. Aykroyd originally wrote Ghostbusters with Belushi in mind for the role of Peter Venkman, but after Belushi's untimely death, the team decided to honor him differently. The creature designers straight up modeled Slimer's face and wild energy on Belushi, especially his messy and famous scene from Animal House. So yeah, every time Slimer's scarfing down hot dogs or making a mess, that's basically John Belushi's spirit, haunting the movie in the best way possible. Number 10. Onionhead was his real name on set. And here's the funny part. On set, Belushi's slimy alter ego wasn't even called Slimer. The crew actually nicknamed him Onionhead because the puppet reeked from all the chemicals and goo. Artist Steve Johnson used to make it look gross and shiny. The name Slimer only showed up later in the real Ghostbusters cartoon, but by then, the smelly green ghost was already a star. Number 11. Most scenes were improv. A lot of what made Ghostbusters so funny wasn't even in the script. Reitman basically told the cast, "Go for it," and Bill Murray ran with it. Murray, being Murray, improvised most of his lines on the spot, including the iconic "he slimed me" moment. The energy on set was totally unpredictable in the best way. Actors constantly cracking each other up and building on jokes that weren't written anywhere. Just pure comedic instinct. Number 12. The theme song got sued. The Ghostbusters theme song, the one that made everyone sing "I Ain't Afraid of No Ghosts," actually sparked a huge legal battle. 80s rock star Huey Lewis claimed Ray Parker Jr. copied his song "I Want a New Drug" to make the Ghostbusters theme. The lawsuit lasted over a decade until they finally settled out of court. But the drama didn't stop there. Parker later sued back after Lewis broke their confidentiality deal on TV. Turns out, even the Ghostbusters theme couldn't escape a few ghosts from the past. Number 13. Zool's voice was the director. Let's fast forward to one of the weirdest twists of the movie. You know that chilling moment when Venkman asks Dana if he can talk to her, and she growls back, "There is no Dana, only Zool." Sounds terrifying, right? Well, that creepy, deep voice wasn't Weaver at all. It was actually director Ivan Reitman. During post-production, he couldn't find the right voice actor, so he just deepened his own voice and went for it. Fun fact, he even did some of Slimer's grunts too. Number 14. Props were meant to look cheap. And if you thought that was strange, wait till you hear this. A lot of the gadgets in Ghostbusters were meant to look totally homemade. Reitman wanted the proton packs, ghost traps, and even Moranis' brain scanner to look like they'd been thrown together in a garage by a couple of inventors. Totally cobbled together, messy, and a bit ridiculous. That slight DIY vibe wasn't a mistake. It added a ton of charm and made the tech funny and believable at the same time. Number 15. Ghost storage scene was cut. Remember that wild first draft we talked about? Well, in Aykroyd's early script, ghosts weren't just running loose in New York. They were being stored in a deserted gas station turned containment asylum, packed with spirits of famous dead people. Totally bonkers, right? Sadly, budget and timing killed the idea, so we never got to see it. But just imagine walking into a creepy gas station full of ghost celebrities. That was the original plan. Number 16. Proton Pack wasn't named in the film. Now here's a fun little detail that you might have missed. In the original Ghostbusters, the term Proton Pack is never actually said. The gadgets are all there, zapping ghosts left and right, but they don't get a proper name until Ghostbusters 2 and later materials. So when you're watching the first movie, the team is blasting spirits with their mysterious, high-tech gear. And it's just called the equipment on screen. Number 17. The firehouse is two places. You might think the iconic Ghostbusters firehouse is all one building, but here's a behind-the-scenes secret. It is actually two different buildings. The exterior? That's New York's Hook and Ladder 8. The interior scenes? Filmed all the way in Los Angeles at Fire Station number 23 in studio sets. So every time the team runs from the halls to the lab, they're technically in a whole different city. Movie magic at its finest. Number 18. Stay Puft's original entrance. Get this. The original plan for the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man was even crazier than what we saw on screen. The filmmakers wanted him rising from the Hudson River, standing next to the Statue of Liberty so we could really get a sense of his size. But back in 1984, CGI wasn't a thing, and this shot was way too tricky. Imagine if they had today's effects, we might have gotten a giant, Godzilla-style marshmallow stomping through the city. Number 19. Hidden cameos. And if you thought the ghosts were the only stars in Ghostbusters, think again. The movie is packed with blink and you'll miss it celebrity cameos. During the big containment explosion, adult film star Ron Jeremy can actually be seen standing behind the barricade, just watching it unfold. And over at the tavern on the green scene, a young Debbie Gibson shows up for a split second before anyone knew she'd become a pop star. Number 20. Ghostbusters. Wasn't the first title. And to finish with a perfect twist, the title Ghostbusters itself almost didn't exist. Back in the 80s, the name was tied up by a 1975 TV show, so Columbia had to negotiate the rights, after briefly considering names like Ghost Smashers and Ghost Breakers. Fun fact, in the actual movie, the title still appears as Ghostbusters with a space. Imagine chanting Ghost Smashers. Instead, doesn't quite hit the same. And that's all. 20 weird facts that prove Ghostbusters was just as wild behind the scenes as it was on screen. Kinda makes you want to rewatch it, doesn't it? Before you go, let us know your favorite behind-the-scenes secret in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more movie trivia you won't believe.